My name is Sanat Singha, and I work as a senior solution integrator at Ericsson India Global Services. After finishing my master's in science and then MBA, then postgraduate diploma in tech writing, and then after completing my 14 years of corporate with a few professional certifications so far, I still feel that student within myself since I joined Zenith School of Leadership program, and I'm happy that I could go back to the base phase of my life with Zenith.
All right. All right. That's wonderful. So I think what you're trying to say is that Zenith has awakened the learner in you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I truly agree, and I speak it from my heart.
Awesome. That is so good to hear. And that's such a good way to start the interview. All right. So my first question to you would be this, that you just graduated, in fact, last week. And now that you have graduated, what is the feeling that you're having at this point in time? What would you like to say about the entire experience?
Yes, definitely. A lot of things to say. In fact, today I call myself a Zenith, and I'm proud that I'm committed to following the legacy of the Zenith predecessors. And I really cherish every moment of my learnings and association with Zenith team, especially Gulin ma'am, that one mentor in my lifetime uh, I can think of. And the weekly mastermind sessions, the discussion forums, assignments, video lessons, live workshops, and any other offline activities which were conducted by Gulin ma'am and Afrin you especially. Those sessions were really engaging and value driven for me. So though the program was about 10 weeks, but being a Zenith now, I see that the journey is never ending for me. And as I started applying the communication intelligence techniques in my real personal and professional lives, and the journeys that I'm currently going on, I see there are a lot of positive changes in my actions, my responses, and the attitude towards others. And in fact, you won't believe, people around me have now started acknowledging that it's Sanat 2.0 version. So, and I'm really feeling very happy about that transformation that they can see within myself. The recent feedbacks which I received from my colleagues, my manager, my family members, and near and dear ones, that shows yes, no, I'm on the right path. So kudos to Zenith and the team, and you and Colleen ma'am especially.
That was very beautifully put, Mr. Sanat, and very wonderfully, I would say, summarized the entire program. You talked about the mastermind lives, discussion forums, and how other people have started to notice. Because,
Mm,
we all know that even though a lot of people might say that their purpose of getting into this program is personal growth and personal development, we do get impacted by the impression that other people have of us, and it does matter. And it should matter because it's a mirror into how we are being in our lives. It's the most honest feedback that we can get. So, getting to hear from you that you have started to see that aspect come around is very beautiful. And I'm very glad that you talked about that. So, let's talk about this. Let's sort of do a comparison. Before
mhm.
you joined Zenith, you would have had certain expectations in mind.
True.
Um, if you look at the objective with which you had joined the program, and now that you have completed the program, what is the difference between the objective that you had in mind and what you have accomplished from this program? Um, and that is to say that have your takeaways from this program been limited to the objective that you initially had in mind, or have you gotten out of communication intelligence more than you had expected you would?
Yes, definitely. There are a lot of differences, the positive changes that I can see within myself, and the way I am interacting with anyone. So it's a personal or professional communications. A lot of uh, positive vibes that I can see within myself, a lot of confidence, and that brings me the true Sanat 2.0 version, if I summarize it in that way. So yes, definitely, I had a set of expectations, and I still remember the days when I used to endless YouTube videos, and I was searching for something that would endow me with the extraordinary communication skills and the change changed the course of my personal and professional life. But let me tell you, unfortunately, every information which I received from internet came in bit and pieces. No, it was really difficult for me to join the dots and get a holistic view to work on my personal and professional development plan. After all, how much can you gather about communication when you are searching from so many different sources over the internet, and there are particularly no direction to begin with. Uh, so at that point of time, I was feeling directionless, and I was getting impatient with time to find a workable solution for me. But today, let me tell you, I am really satisfied with the outcome of this Zenith's leadership program. Uh, in fact, it has surpassed my expectations as I progressed during the course. The communication intelligence program taught me the steps to manage my internal communication and make the best use of that in excelling into external communication. So that is something very special for me. I was not aware of external and internal communications earlier, and how to segregate and how to amalgamate both of these and uh, take it in a base format. But I'm happy that now I know the framework of communication intelligence, the do's and don'ts of effective communications, the proven techniques like Kaizen, law of marginal adjustment, perspectives, the circle of excellence. So first time I came to know about the six pillars of communications: the listening, interpretation, responsibility, which are the part of internal communications, and then again the clarity, the initiative, and connections. All these are part of external communications. And then the after techniques, the LTS, the charisma building techniques, and many more. In fact, these are not just mere terminologies. There are particular science behind it, and I call it as neuroscience. So I never thought that uh, an online program in this mode could be such empowering and engaging and result driven, to be very frank with you. The learning environment which was provided by Gulin ma'am and you, Afrin, were really conducive. It was so much focused and disciplined and mission oriented, I would say. So all these aspects inspired me to harness the best within me. And that's what I see in the reflections of my people around me calling me Sanat 2.0.
Yeah. And in fact, we saw that in the graduation ceremony when all of your colleagues had come together and they were acknowledging you and they were talking about how much of a difference there is and how you were before and how you have more actively started to stand out in your workplace now. And that was something truly, refreshing to see. And in fact, in what you just said, I specifically liked what you said about, looking for a direction on the internet because
Mhm.
trust me, and I'm sure you know this, you're not the only one. There are so many people out there who struggle in their day to day life. And at the end of the day, because they don't know who to go to as a mentor, they don't know where to find that right mentorship, they end
Yeah.
up turning to Google Baba. And they think that all the answers are there, but the information out there is relevant, but it's so scattered. It's just knowledge. It's not something that you can practically apply. And I think that you have beautifully brought that forth that, this is truly a mentorship program, which is very personalized, even in an online setting. It's meant to give you a direction and it's
True.
meant to walk you that path. We're not just like giving you a direction, be like, jao apne aap karo. We're
Exactly.
really like walking with you through it. And I think you beautifully put that in your words. So thank you for sharing
Definitely. I
that.
mean, Gulin ma'am has made this very clear for us that if you want to achieve something, we have to be on it. And she has been, you know, saying this over and over to us, and so it all stuck into our mind, and we started believing herself in such a way that it feels okay. If I'm not doing this thing correct, I am not a Zenith. So this comes from a very personal, heartfelt experience, and I'm really indebted to Gulin ma'am for that, I must say.
I think you've touched upon just the right person. A lot of times when people ask me what Zenith is, I end up saying that it's Gurleen ma'am because they're so synonymous to each other. Gurleen ma'am and Zenith can't exist without each other.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you this. What do you have to say about Gurleen ma'am as a mentor, as a human being, as what sets her apart as your coach, and what are the qualities that you have seen in her as a mentor over the last 10 weeks?
Yeah, it's my honor to speak anything about Gulin ma'am, and I must acknowledge that Gulin ma'am is an inspirational teacher come leader, a great motivator, a great psychologist, and one of the very few mentors who actually cares for people's growth. Read aspirants' minds, understands our inner thought processes, and she's so particular about addressing the personal and professional challenges that we face. We really had that experience during our mastermind sessions. And then at the end, she provides customized solutions which work wonders, which works magical. So since I started attending the mastermind sessions, the live ones from Gulin ma'am, I simply fell in love with the way she has been imparting her knowledge, her immense experience, and the value that she has been providing over decades. How profound, pragmatic, and inspirational mentoring approach she has, I must say. I mean, I was literally mesmerized by her conviction to infuse the learnings into the experience through her powerful teaching techniques. So she made me work on my intelligence quotient like anything, and she really helped me learn the science of outcome driven communications, which is way beyond the scope of a typical communication course I was looking for earlier in YouTube videos and different channels. So this is something really splendid, I would say, and so distinguished program. And I'm deeply indebted to Zenith ma'am, as I said earlier, and the Zenith team, including you, Yeni, uh, especially Gulin ma'am, for being that one mentor in my life who has created a success story out of me, and I'm still on this journey.
That was beautifully put, Mr. Sana. That was so wonderfully put. And in fact, you talked about how scientific this program is. Everything starting from the SWOT analysis to the personality profile assessment.
Mhm.
Communication on the outlook of it, it feels like a very subjective topic.
True.
But being a part of communication intelligence, the name of the course itself is so scientific. And when you dive deep into it, you realize that there's actually so much of science behind communication itself.
Mhm.
And that being said, I think we're all a product of Gurleen Ma'am's mentorship, even the people who work at Zenith, including myself. We're all a part of the contributions that she has made in our lives. And if I were to say something about her, what sets her apart as a mentor, it would be that she's always looked at every participant from a very solution oriented approach. And that
Absolutely.
is the reason that this program is so scientific. She always, like anybody who comes into Zenith, they think that they can't do it. But ma'am, even before they've done it, she knows that no, this person is
Yes,
going to
yes.
reach heights. And I really love what you said with respect to that. So speaking of, the program, the science, and everything else, I want to ask you this: is the communication intelligence program limited only to communication, or is it more than that? So basically, when I ask you this, what I want you to talk about is what aspects of your life have experienced a value addition because of this program. Was it just the professional life, or have other aspects of your life also been impacted?
Yes, definitely. It's way more than just a communication development program that Zenith is providing to us. And the best part of it is the emotional intelligence, the psychological aspect of any communication, which is related to neuroscience. Uh, so I would say that no, this neuroscience part, the emotional intelligence part, is quite distinguished than any regular communication program that we usually see outside over the internet and all. And that that truly reflects in my communication. So now when I speak, I just don't speak, I communicate, and
Mm.
I take the entire responsibility of my communication and the outcomes. So that is something very special I learned from Golden ma'am. In fact, this CI program, this added immense value to my personal and professional communication abilities. So if I want to summarize them in a few bullets, which I've actually adopted from this Zenith's CI program, is that no, now I know how to make impactful conversations, how to take the best care of my observations, my thoughts, expressions, emotions, choice of words, my reactions, responses, responsibilities towards others, my perspectives, my body language, and everything that I see within myself that was not that perfect, I would say. Again, I started learning how to create connections with others, which is the ultimate goal of any communication. How to build trust and derive a result driven win-win situation out of any communications, no, how to regulate internal and external communication processes. We talked about it earlier, the listening, interpretation, responsibility, clarity, initiative, connections, no. So all these six pillars of communication processes, and so I learned them now how to excel in those in a structured format. I also learned how to maneuver perspectives to bring situations under control and ensure positive outcome, even out of any difficult communications or the challenges that we often face in our professional or personal lives. Then, of course, the do's and don'ts of any communications, because that is something which help me, in fact, eradicated 50% of the mistakes that usually happen to me used to happen to me earlier. And also I learned that how to give the benefit of doubt to others, and how that works wonders, how to apply the power of storytelling techniques and follow certain communication etiquettes, how to prioritize emotions over logic and build a stronger relationships in any communications. So these are only a few, and I can go on and on.
The fact that you've listed so many and then you end up saying these are only a few is. But let me say this, Mr. Sanad, when I sit in my first discussion forum, the first message that I try to put across is that, and by the end of this program, we want communication intelligence to become a subconscious part of who you are. And
Yes.
the reason I'm mentioning is because I see you being the testimony of that statement. You really imbibed communication intelligence in the core of your being. And that is so, it's witnessable. Anybody who looks at you knows that there is something different about you. You've worked on a certain aspect of your five intelligences, and it's showing its colors. So I would just like to say that there are so many other things that I would have loved to touch upon in what you said in your previous answer, but this is the first thing that I want to say to you.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
All right. So let me ask you the last question that I have for today. Is this program only meant for those who want to work on their communication? Or do you think that this program is something that every working professional can take advantage of?
Yeah, very good questions, and very pertinent to this environment. When we are all, most of us, the IT guys, are working on online mode, work from home mode, I'd say. So yes, definitely. As I mentioned earlier, this Zenith Communication Intelligence Program gives much more than what a typical communication skills development course entails. So right from the personality profile report you said about it, PPR, SWOT analysis report, the interview questionnaire, which helps in self-analysis to starting from that, then the live classes, live mastermind sessions, and of course Gulin Mam's personalized mentoring. All these are so imperative to professional growth. And as a professional, now I understand that how important it is to know my areas of improvement. In fact, anyone for that matter, and get the right mentor at the very right time who really have the expertise to help walk the path. Zenith in every way, brings maturity in professional communications and supports with all necessary arms and ammunitions to be a powerful communicator. So no matter what stage of a career I'm into, the role, the position or I hold or the industry I belong to, I feel it's my due responsibility to invest time and energy to become a powerful communicator. Because this skill for a professional is an invaluable time, lifetime asset for maintaining any personal and professional relationship. And I truly believe that any professional will benefit from this Zenith Communication Intelligence Program simply because the ROI, we talk about ROI, we think about ROI, right? And the ROI from this program is much more than they would expect before joining Zenith. And this will come with time. And I'd like to emphasize that one mantra that no, once a Zenith, always a Zenith. And it really stands true here at the Zenith School of Leadership program. So, what more a professional can actually ask from a communication program like this? You have delivered everything to the level of your expertise, and we are still uh, into this journey. So, I would like to thank so much to you, Gulil ma'am, and the entire Zenith program for bringing everything in such a beautifully packaged format to us. And that really makes a good difference in any of the professionals like me. So I would really recommend any professional or personal. In fact, if you talk about people who are having personal level of challenges uh, and they want to communicate and get their challenges resolved, this is one program which truly talks and uh, shows results, which I've seen myself. So that's the conviction that I have about Zenith. I'm really proud to be a Zenith as well, and I'll always be a Zenith uh, to the outer world out of me.
That's wonderfully put, especially what you said about, being a working professional, no matter what career you're at, it being imperative and a duty to yourself and the organization that you're a part of to become a powerful communicator, which is why it's so important that no matter what stage you're at, no matter how good you think you may be, there is always something, always at least some aspect of communication intelligence that you might not even know exists.
Mhm.
And that is something that I think you beautifully put across. And in the end, I would just like to say that it has been such a pleasure having you as a participant. It has been, I think you have been, I remember that, you've undergone a surgery during the course of the program. You were ill, your health was not supporting you, but I do not recall you missing any more than one mastermind session when you actually were recovering from the surgery itself. And I think your dedication has been a true inspiration, and it is such a pleasure having participants like you around. So I'd just like to thank you for that and for your time today over here with us today.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure to talk anything about Zenith, and I'm really happy the way Zenith program and you, Gulin ma'am, everyone supported me during my tough time. So you give enough time and you give enough freedom to take up on my course progress. So many more thanks to all of you, and that's a wonderful journey I had, and I'll remember it forever. That
We'll
counts really.
also remember it forever, and we hope that you stay connected.
Yes, yes, definitely.
All right, Mr. Sanath, it was wonderful interviewing you today, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Afraid.